Yeah, obviously we're disappointed that we didn't come away with the win in the game this past Saturday. Really, a poor first quarter, especially in terms of field position and special teams play, got us off to the start, a really bad start, and it was we weren't able to claw our way all the way back out of it. So, we come back now, obviously trying to look at some of the good things that we did. I thought some of the no huddle stuff on offense got us in a rhythm. Our quarterback and our wide receivers played as well as they've played. But now as we come back to get ready for Charlotte, we're just trying to make sure we shore up the kicking game and really kind of get back to playing, trouble football without the penalties that we had this past week. So penalties and special teams put us in a hole, and we were never able to overcome it. So we've been trying to make sure we don't do that again this week.
We'll take questions for Coach Rhule, please. *1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
We'll go first to Dan Tortora with WakeUpCallDT.com.
Good afternoon, Coach. How you doing today?
How you doing, bud?
Good. To go back into this game, some of the things, the positives you were able to take away in a loss. I know you said, speeding up the offense and some of that up-tempo, you saw some good things. Just what you can say about the offense moving forward and having the ability to obviously move down the field quickly.
Well, I just thought, we were able to get our quarterback in a rhythm, and I thought, guys caught the ball really, really well. I mean, we had some guys make, at the wide receiver position, tight end position, we had some guys make some great plays. Jihad coming out of the backfield. So it's the first time we've thrown and caught the ball that well, and obviously for us to move forward, that's going to be kind of important for us. So I thought we were really good in the red zone. I think we were 4 for 5 or 3 for 4, whatever it was, touchdown percentage. And 100% in terms of scoring. So I was pleased with a lot of things on offense in the red zone. I was pleased with the passing game. I was pleased with the fact we didn't throw a pick for the last play of the game. We protected the ball for 59 minutes. For us moving forward, just try to keep building on it.
Now, when you look at building on that moving forward, what can you say about your upcoming opponent, what you've seen from them, what your takeaways are? Is obviously coming down the road, you'll have more AAC play, but what you can say about this upcoming opponent?
Well, we're excited to play Charlotte. We played them last year. It was a 10-7 game or 13-7 game at halftime. They're a physical group. They have one of the best defensive linemen that we'll face all year, and Larry Ogunjobi. He gave us fits last year. He's an NFL player. And then offensively, Khalif Phillips is a tremendous back, and they hurt us last year with wheel routes and some things moving the ball that we didn't handle real well. So I think Coach Lambert does a good job, and they'll expose the things that you're not doing well. So coming out of the Penn State game where we made some critical errors, I think we have to try to do a really good job of making sure we limit the big plays.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
We'll go next to Bill Kaiser with Charlotte Observer.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Hey, Mr. Kaiser, how are you?
Touching on Charlotte some more, you've had a chance to dissect the game film. Is there any aspect of their game that kind of concerns you, looking at how your team plays?
Yeah, I think they do a really nice job of stopping sort of the two-back run, the downhill run. So we're watching some of these films. It's these spread teams that really doesn't apply to us. So we had to kind of go back and watch last year and watch some other games. And I think, like I said, starting with the nose tackle, he's just such a great player. And then everyone else is a big, physical, hard-nosed football player. The safeties are really, really involved in the run support. They'll come down and they'll strike you. And so we had a hard time last year until we kind of got, a couple big plays in the second half, moving the ball and putting points on the board.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
We'll go next to Marc Narducci with Philadelphia Inquirer.
Matt, you had said that after the first 4 games that you kind of will know a lot better about your young players, whether they'll be able to contribute once the conference season starts. Do you have a good handle yet? And are you using this Charlotte game as kind of like a last look at some of these guys?
Well, we're doing everything we can to beat Charlotte. We want to win the football game and play well. So what we have done is we rotate a lot of guys, and really, it's not really even for me. It's not even really a last look at the young guys. It's also a last look at some of the older guys. Like everybody kind of really sort of setting their sort of their course going into the conference. So some guys are playing their best football. Other guys are not. Some of the young guys have stepped in, and Karamo got in and made an instant impact on Saturday. He played really, really well. Derek Thomas got in and played really well. So some of the other guys in special teams. So, yeah, our thought all along has been, we wanted to win more games than we have, but just trying to, build the team and get ready for the conference and get those young guys a lot of experience. And, we had a bunch of young guys run down the kickoff the other day. The first one wasn't very good, and then they got better and better and better as the game went on, the last one being tackled inside the 20. So, hopefully all that experience will pay off. But there are some guys that we can tell, hey, he's going to be something for us moving forward. And there are other guys that, we're still not sure where exactly they fit.
One other thing, Colin Thompson, I thought, gave you a really good game the other day at tight end. You talked about him during the week being banged up. Did he come out of the game okay? I mean, as far as for this week?
Yeah, he'll play this week. Yep, he's good.
Okay, thank you.
Sir.
We'll go next to Chris Franklin with Coach and Player Magazine.
Hey, Matt, how are you doing today?
What's going on, bro?
That's good. You've had Jahad Thomas score a couple touchdowns Saturday. Raquel Armstead ran well. You had David Hood, and you also have Jacob Gardner back there. How would you assess the depth of your running back and how they've done so far this year?
I think we have a lot of depth. We think Isaiah Wright's a good player as well. So, we used some two tailback stuff for the first time this past game, just trying to get our players on the field, try to use Jahad as a motion guy, get him out, speed sweeps, do a couple screens to him. So I think it's one of our stronger positions on the team. I think there's a lot of depth, and it allows us then to know that if a guy gets banged up, we have other comparable players that can go in the game and just kind of still do it the same way.
Thanks. And finally, through the first three games, how would you assess the play of Nick Sharga?
That's a good question. He's had some really, really good moments, and he's a guy that was banged up in the preseason. He's had a couple plays where it just hasn't really finished the way that he normally would. And so last year, we were playing him on special teams. He was maybe doing a lot more and maybe a little bit more in rhythm. So we're trying to find some ways to get him in rhythm because he's one of our better players, but we just haven't really used him maybe enough, to kind of get him in a rhythm during the games.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
We'll go next to Sean Pastor with Owls Daily.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
What's going on, Sean?
So I was curious, 3 games in, the linebackers, you got 3 senior starters, and there might have been an expectation that you really would, have a good start there from that group. How do you assess those 3 starters in that group after 3 games?
It's a good question. I'd say after 2 games, we were really pleased. I don't think we were really, didn't feel like anybody at the linebacker position played exceptionally well this past game. I think, Champ had 11 tackles. He had more than the entire linebacking crew combined. I think at one point, before this last game, Stephon Marshall was somewhere in the nation where he was, one of the top tacklers in the country. I mean, he hit a lot of tackles and then something to that effect. And then, this past game, really didn't get the production out of those guys that we would like. I would say Avery Williams has played as hard and as physical and as well as anybody. He's a guy that everyone's, raving about, but we're just not getting the production from the position. So we rotated some guys. We put Chappelle in this past game. We put Folks in. So we're trying to get some guys on the field. I think the young linebackers are going to be really, really good, but, we're just not getting the production out of the position this past game that, that we expected or that we really needed.
Okay, well, one other quickie. I noticed 2 guys who I presume are ticketed to redshirt, Anthony Russo and Dan Archibald, traveled up to Penn State just because they haven't played so far. Is there something particularly that they in that spot on that trip?
Yeah, Archibald. I also brought Willie Smith, who's a kid who's a scout team player at wideout. I mean, Archibald's just been dynamic in practice, and he's worked really, really, really hard. And so, there's part of me that I dressed him the last game too, that might play him. So, as we look at injuries, we're still kind of weighing whether we should play him this week moving forward because he's really going to be a really good player, and we're really excited about him. And then Anthony Russo is a guy that we are really, really happy with. He's been really, really good in preseason. So he comes to all the quarterback meetings. He'll travel all year. Once Philip graduates this year, we have 3 guys that are two of them have played in games, and then Anthony, and they're going to battle for that job in the spring, along with anybody we bring in. So we just wanted to make sure if he is the starter or if he is in the competition, he's at least been on the road, been in these environments, been on the headset, kind of had at least the experience of being in the arena when next year comes.
Okay, thanks.
get one more in for Coach Rhule, please.
We'll go to Matt Bender with owlscoop.com.
Hey, Matt. How's it going?
Hey, Matt.
I know you mentioned after the game that Javon Fair got a little bit banged up. Are you guys expecting to have him available and pretty healthy this week, or could he be out potentially this week?
I don't know till tomorrow. He hurt that ankle in the game, so we'll see if he's able to practice tomorrow or not.
Okay. And after getting a chance to watch the film and look back at the defensive backs, I guess this was probably their first true test of the season. They didn't face, obviously, many passes against Army or Stony Brook. Just after getting a chance to look back and see what they did, how do you think they performed against Penn State?
Our corners played really, really well. There's a couple times where we bailed and played cover 3 and they threw the ball in front of us. We broke up and tackled it. But I thought Derek Thomas, and Nate Hairston, Archel Foster all played really, really well. At safety, I thought Champ played as hard. I think he had 11 tackles, recovered a fumble, and Delvon, struggled a little bit at times. So, I think there's kind of a mixed bag. Some guys played really, really well. Some guys struggled a little bit. And, that's a game that really challenges the safeties because everything is a run play with a pass attached to it, so it's not like, hey, it's a pass, we drop back. And so we struggled maybe a little bit at safety. Champ, anytime there's big plays, it's on the safety. So Champ made some tackles, but we gave up some deep balls, or some deep runs, deep plays. So I'd say it was, one of those games, Matt, that's kind of 50-50. Those safeties have to get the run game down as well as the passing game. I was pleased with our corners, but too many big plays to say anybody played super well.
Mm-hmm.